Okay, let's see if this is working now. Let me see here. I want to go up to Blackboard. We want to log in. I'm going to do a little tutorial on creating response periods, which is simply a deployment of a survey to a particular group. That's what a response period is. So let's go in there, System Admin Panel, pick Enterprise Surveys, and this is going to bring up the page of surveys that I have created. And as you can see, we've got a couple running right now, and I'm going to pick this just standard. This is for the traditional classes. So I'm going to click on response periods, and that's going to bring up the different response periods that we've got going right now. And you can see these things are listed. I've just picked this. This is just the way I display these. This is by the instructor, then by the class name, and then by the section identification information. So we're going to create another one. And as I say, I use the instructor's name, so I'm going to go with a Bethany Wallace class. So it's Bethany Wallace, and this is going to be oral communication. And the section number is SPC. Let's see here, 10301. And I'm getting that from just a sheet that I've got over here to the left of me. Okay, so I'm going to scroll back and I'm going to highlight this whole thing and I'm going to copy it, and then I'm going to paste it here just because I do want to have a description there, and I'm going to use this copied information at another critical part of this process. So we're going to save this first page of information, and then here's where we pick the group we're going to submit this survey to. And so rather than send it to all 3,800 students we have in Blackboard currently, we're going to pick a specific course. And so I go up here and I and we're going to search by course ID, and I'm going to put that same information in there, BC 1003-001-2015 SP, and that's in the syntax that we use here at UACCB in the Blackboard. So there it is. There's Bethany's class. I've got to pick this box, then I've got to submit this. Let me get that out of the way. Okay, so I've submitted that particular class, and I want to check and make sure that I got those, and there are 15 students in it, so that sounds about right. I save that. Now I go to another important place, because right now the default is that students are going to be notified about this evaluation inside their Blackboard course. So they're going to obviously know if they're inside that Blackboard course and they get an evaluation notice, it's going to be for that course. But I'm going to also send an email notification to them outside of Blackboard that will provide them a link to that survey that will mean they could get this thing on their smartphone, and they could do the thing right then without having to log into Blackboard. They just click on the link. But they wouldn't know which class they're talking about, because the default message they get does not say anything about a particular class. It just tells them the name of that evaluation of instruction. So I'm going to have to edit that message to add the information about the class. So here I go, survey 4, and then I'm going to paste in that particular class information so that they will know what this response is for. I'm going to save that, and then I'm going to, this is the scheduling page. We could either send this now, we could send it later, which really just puts it in a holding pattern, but I'm going to send it automatically. It's about 8:40 my time, so I'm going to pick today, and I'm going to set this thing to deploy at 9 o'clock tonight. So there's the deployment, and I'm going to close the survey. This is just a date that I picked For all the classes, it's the last day that students can do anything on this evaluation. We're picking May 1st. So there's that information, and now I'm going to set up a reminder sequence, which I open that reminder box, and I'm going to start 3 days after the survey sent the first time. That's just something I picked, and then we're going to remind every 3 days thereafter. So the students will be reminded every 3 days if they need to do this evaluation. Now, students who have already completed it won't get this reminder. Now you have to save the reminder box separately. So I save that, and there's the reminder message, and now you should check to make sure that that identifying information is in there, because the student, like I say, won't know what we're talking about if they won't know which class they're supposed to evaluate without that message. I'm going to save this and hit OK, and that's going to mean that that particular response period is ready to go. And that's the end of that particular lesson.